Okay, we found them. Doop. Fred hit them. Gone but not forgotten, right? Okay. Too much socket speed. Alright, nuts off. Now just take a hammer and hit it 180 degrees from the crank pin. Pops the taper off and pull the flywheel right off. And they did not put the lock on the inside. See, they had one on the outside, but not the inside. Okay, to get the rod off, you got to pull the key out, which just fell out. Then you can pull the rod set up and see how bad the bearings are. They don't look too awful bad, but definitely got a lot of metal through them. I don't know if you can see in there, but you can see all the ridges in there all the way across instead of being a nice smooth hone or lap surface. It's all just radial grooves going in a circle in there from crap running through them. And these are pile of crap Taiwan replacement rods. See, they say replacement on it. That means they're butter crap. So you can tell I like those a lot. So we might have to do something different on that. We'll see. Okay, now use the other socket to pull the main shafts out. Red Loctite on this. More Loctite. There it goes. That looks good. When you take your hammer and hit it flat on the end of the shaft, it should pop it. If you hit it at an angle, you will damage the threads when you hit it at an angle like that, because it crushes the one side. So you got to be careful. So you just go ahead and pull the keys out at this point. Use a pair of dikes to do that. It appears this shaft here is nice and smooth. You don't have all those radial marks in there like the rods. So this shaft was splash lubricated, not pressure lubricated. So it didn't get all chewed up as bad. Now this is pressure lubed in here, but most of it just goes down the inside of the shaft, so it's pretty much just splash on this outside edge. So it's not chewed up too awful bad. So we actually got one good part still. That's a plus. The flywheel appears to be rebalanced, so we'll have to check that because it'll probably be off. Most of the time you fill up all the holes, you're pretty close. Maybe one or two stay open, but when you see a whole bunch of holes in here, it's usually wrong. Okay, now I gotta do this other side. We already got the nut off. So you do the same thing, you hit it with a hammer to knock it free. Let gravity help us a little bit, so we stand it up a little. You got to make sure you do not hit the case because that could break it. So this one does not want to break free because it's Loctited in. But the whole bearing's already loose, which is usually not how they come out. Oh, there it goes. It fooled me, it already popped. The first thing you do when you pull these off, you look at the keyway groove in here and see if it's all chewed up. If it's all chewed up, the flywheel's junk. This one appears to be slightly looser than stock. You can see how the edges are chamfered a little bit in there maybe. And when they get chamfered out, that's because they're loose. been loose at one time. So looks like it'll be usable. Pull the crank pin out. Looks good. Oh, that had a lock on there. Oops. Shows you how much that lock did. Not much. Until you knock it out flat. A piece of metal in my hand is doing that. So you look at the shaft and see what kind of wear marks are on it. You can tell it's got some junk run through it, but it might still be usable. It doesn't look awfully bad yet. You can tell it's an import one. Probably because it's got replacement rods. That's another clue. So this might be usable. So we'll have to see in all that parts. Once again, the flywheel's been all rebalanced, so we'll have to check into that. Other than that, they look pretty good. Okay, so now we're down to our case here. Looks like they got a tapered pipe plug jammed into here. It's supposed to be a straight thread. So maybe they screwed that up. That's not too awful hard to fix. Damn it. Too far down. Hole full of dirt. Well, that was real tight. Another potential problem down the road. Plug falls out. That appears to not be a tapered pipe thread. That appears to be a straight fine thread set screw, so it never does get tight, so it can fall out at any point. So only holding that in was all that grit. That's not supposed to be retaining compound. Alright. Yeah, still loose. Alright. Let's see if the shaft will come out. Yes, it did. Now, if they don't come out with a couple hits, don't hit anymore, you go get a press. Appears to be a new bearing. Looks like they didn't screw it up too much yet. You can see the groove in here is a little bit marred up just like the flywheel was, so it's slightly loose in there. And it also looks like there was some marks in here where it was bottomed out. So let's get the flywheel back and look at that. So when you see this mark in here, right here, that's where this here bottoms out on the shaft easily, not the taper. It appears it should have enough room, but it gets chewed up from being loose. A lot of times I'll go in here, I'll cut these a little deeper, about 50 thou in, to make sure there's room so the shaft will tighten on the taper, not against that shoulder. If it pulls up against this shoulder, it's not tight, and it'll come loose on you. It'll destroy this and the shaft and everything. Then you get to pull the motor back apart. There, when I get in the right spot, you can see how there's no real gap in between the flywheel and the shaft now. So it bottomed out in there. So we'll definitely be cutting the flywheel shorter here also. Otherwise it will be broken in short order, especially if I ride it. Now this has 2 dowel pins in here that lines the case has. Got 1 dowel pin here and 1 way over here. And that way the cases are lined up when you put them together, and your cylinders will slip down like they're supposed to, and the main shafts line up and the transmission lines up. Assuming the trapdoor matches the case, which this one doesn't. I don't see any cracks in the tranny case, so that's a plus. So it looks like they probably just poked holes in the back of the other one, that was it. So we'll clean all that crap off of there and see what the hell's underneath all that. Got a paper gasket here for a cylinder base. Some kind of red goopy ass material here they use for sealer. Alright, so last thing I want to try to get out is a seal race over here. So you try to get under that with a screwdriver and poke it out. This screwdriver is not going to do it. Okay, so this one's screwdriver here is a little bit worn, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the grinder real quick. Sharpen up that edge. Now it's a little bit sharper now on the edge there. Hopefully that'll allow me to get in here to grab a hold of it. It doesn't appear to want to be coming out. Nope. Screwdriver's too fat. Okay, I'm going to go back, get a couple smaller screwdrivers and a pick, and we'll be back.